So here we are in Singapore at Satoshi United, another great event. We're here to see one of our advisors. He's here on a couple of boards. We're also here to network and get to know people, have a look at some other ICOs, and primarily to show the Evident Proof platform and to get together with some potential token buyers. It's going to be a great event. Really looking forward to it.
So the next generation of cryptocurrencies, they're going to be smarter. Guys, this is just the beginning. What Satoshi gave us, this beautiful gift, it's just the beginning. You know, what's next is what's going to be beautiful. And this is where I get into arguments with Bitcoin maximalists all the time, like who believe that, you know, Bitcoin is the beginning and the end. It's not. Bitcoin is the beginning. And the next generation of smart tokens that are being worked on at MIT and Harvard and Stanford and, you know, Oxford and Cambridge and many universities in the world right now are smarter. They're using AI. They're able to balance. They're able to control actually fluctuation in pricing. And, you know, we're this convergence of AI and cryptocurrency is going to change the landscape completely. NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, all these guys are already looking at our exchanges. They're moving in our direction. And the technology that we can provide through blockchain and AI and the combination of those two is massive.
Mr. Adrian Clarke, he is the CEO of Evident Proof. It's a company that combines blockchain technology with proprietary IP to create a solid new data service. It's quite fascinating. Now, Adrian Clarke was a CTO and innovative director of Microsoft UK. He's been a software engineer since the age of 21 years old and is always at the leading edge of new technology. So this is going to be quite fascinating and interesting to see the different minds discussing the various things. So, can we give it a big round of applause, please? So let's talk about investments in blockchain and ICO, beyond ICOs rather. How can we expect a shift from traditional shares and stocks to tokens? And how long do you think that shift will take? It's open, so anyone who feels free to answer, you can.
I would say we're 12 months away from really seeing securitized tokens coming into the market, which is really the bridge between the two worlds, I think.
Right.
I said some negative things about it previously, but I think that securitized tokens have their place in this ecosystem, and they are coming.
Okay.
It's just right now, if you have a security token, you will not find an exchange that will list them. So you have a problem. And until we get over that hurdle, if it's not liquid, it's not useful at this point.
Okay.
I think I agree with Richard. The securitization of tokens, and when that becomes something that can go mainstream on exchanges,
right.
And when that's understood by the public and they understand the nature of it, there will be an explosion there in terms of ownership and acquisition and participation by the general public in the financial community. I don't think they will ever replace shares and equity in businesses in its entirety, because there are things which are so inherent in shares themselves, which it applies and actually gives an ownership in the organisation itself, and the ability to apply individual rights to those shares, which of course you can do with tokens as well.
Yeah.
But monitoring them and governing them when they are being traded on multiple exchanges around the world simultaneously will be a difficult thing to manage. So I think shares will always have their place, but they will diminish considerably, and it's going to take probably 5 years for that to happen. I've seen lots of technologies and how long they actually take to realise in reality. It's coming though.
Okay, thanks, Adrian. That's a very good point. So, what would you say the future of crypto funds would be, and what's the most important advice for someone choosing an investment when it comes to blockchain technology, ICOs? What's the most important piece of advice you would give to someone who's interested in taking action and investing?
But yeah, definitely team for me is something I recommend, and also their capability to build a community. Do they have something that a large group of people are going to grab onto? Do they have something that that can really build the community that's necessary to have a successful cryptocurrency and utility value and usage of that currency? So that's kind of what I look at anyway when I'm looking at ICOs.
Okay. Gentlemen?
Team's very important. You have to make sure that the technology model they're claiming that they're going to land and build and scale into the world is actually realisable and deliverable. It's very easy to build a proof of concept or even an MVP and show that working. But taking that to an enterprise global scale level in a secure and robust manner, and one where you can deploy the technology, manage it and maintain it in a cost-effective manner, is a totally different thing. I've often seen projects at MVP stage which work fine, but when you look into the architecture, and you look at how they need to scale and be secured, and the cost of managing and maintaining the data and the transactions, for example, in a lot of cases the security that's required in these platforms is very heavy, and they need multiple encryptions. There's many transactions a second, for example, around the globe. The cost of compute for those transactions can actually wipe out the entire overheads of the business, which are then, of course, will make it fall over. Then you'll have a bunch of token holders with their platform to support them. So that's very important. Looking at the team is important, making sure the team's robust as well, and the team members are all being adequately rewarded. As I've often seen models where the key members of the team aren't necessarily the guys you're speaking to. Mouthpieces quite often are just that. The guys behind them who are building it are very important, and they can be overruled and rewarded, and they leave before the platform's landed. So it's very similar to traditional investment. You're looking for all the usual things, but you've got to add in the ability to build a really strong and sustainable community. Sustainable. By sustainable, I mean one that's got longevity built into it. I've seen quite a few social media orientated ICOs who've got great novelty appeal. This is just one example, but they will not be able to sustain their community over time.
So between idea, execution, and team, your vote is team and execution.
My vote is execution, team, but also look at the technology. Make sure it's either working or that it is actually deliverable. And to do that, you need a tech expert to go and look at it.
Thank you, Adrian. So let me just ask everyone this. Can investment in blockchain and crypto projects drive sustainable and smart development? Given the energy usage concerns that we have now regarding blockchain technology, how sustainable can it be in the future? And can crypto projects drive that sustainability and smart development?
People can vote with their feet or their tokens, if you like, to support projects. Human beings, the average Joe in the street, is far more likely to support a project that's of benefit to the planet than a government is, or much faster and more effectively. So you see a lot of ICOs raising, ITOs raising up with green agendas, green projects. They're getting funded from the market. That's one thing. When you look at the efficiency and the cost and the energy that's absorbed into driving the crypto ecosystem at the moment, that doesn't look so good, but it's going to get a lot more efficient over time. When you compare what's happening now with the amount of trees, for example, that have been chopped down to build all of the currency on the planet, we could just remove that, or even 10% of it, through people using cryptocurrencies, electronic transactions, and changing the curve on that in terms of the graph. That in itself would have a huge element of sustainability. It would cut down on carbon emissions as well.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, with that, let's wrap up the discussion. Thank you guys very much for your input and your time. Can we give them a big round of applause, please?
So hi there. So we're at Satoshi United in Singapore, and how do you feel about the conference and where we're going from here?
Yeah, conference is okay here. We've met some very interesting people, caught up some of our advisors, which is good. Richard Kastelein is here. I got to see a couple of his talks today. They've been really, really useful. And we've come along with some of our other partners and token holders. So we've got Sheldon, who's here, who's going to be coming along with us over to Bangkok at the weekend, where we're going to the Hybrid Summit. And Singapore seemed a good place to come and visit, because of what's happening with the blockchain over here at the moment, and also we've been in Korea over the weekend at the Blockchain Partner Summit, which went really, really good for us. Made lots more partners and contacts there, and then we come to Singapore to pick up here before we move on to Bangkok at the weekend. So yeah, really good, and it's a lovely location. Some great people.
What do you think about coming to this conference? Do you think it was worth coming along?
Definitely. We've made a couple of contacts and we've also managed to get Adrian a panel seat, which was amazing because we managed to get his name out up on the board and in front of everybody.
Great, thanks.